The next presentation will be focused on participation rules and in particular on funding, and will be done by Maurice Serral, ANR France.
Okay, we are at a training. It means that I am not to say nothing. I have only to answer to your questions. Because you previously read the content of the call and now you have questions. It's the reason why you are here. I finished my talk. It's to you to talk. Okay, I can do some introductions. What is very important at the applicant's level, first